I think that, yeah, and just like we were saying before, that's that should be expected. Like, as this person was talking about, they get an amazing feeling while feeding the homeless, as well as being in church and listening to a speaker, and that's amazing. That's how it should be. We should have a well-rounded Christianity of where we go and we serve others as well as being served, or listening to other people speak, and share in that dialogue of Christianity. And I just think that if we look outside of just Colloquy and Vespers, and we try to search what's in this catalog and what are the different opportunities there are, there's like 3-4 pages full of ministries that people can get in touch with. And I think it's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
And a resource that people, I guess, should look more into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it should be said, shameless plug for all of you. If you are interested in this and you haven't picked one up yet, you weren't at Vespers when they were handed out or anything like that, go talk to RVP in the campus center, Justin Terosian. He'd be more than happy to give you one. So moving on, there's one last thing that I want to cover with you guys, and that is I really think that PUC needs to look at how we've placed value in so many rules and regulations. I mean, everything is so caught up in how you must have these many points to call yourself a good Christian student. And to me and many of other students, that just comes off as a Christianity that I want no part of. And I chose this because this email's read out of all the ones that we got, because I really do think that they do make a valid point. And I really am interested, Nick, in what you have to say about that, because I mean, you came from a public school background, non-Adventist background, and then you come here to where all of this is required. And I'm just wondering, is this a Christianity? How does this Christianity differ to what you've experienced in the past? And in that, you know, what's different?
Well, like I've attended a very large amount of different denominations. I'm technically a member of the Nazarene denomination, but we're not really a Nazarene church. We're a Willow Creek Association church, which is more non-denominational. I've helped with Baptist church, and I've helped with Covenant churches. I mean, I've been around different denominations, and Adventism, this one at least, I'm not sure, I've never been to another Adventist church, but this one's really almost uptight, the system. But if you look at other Christian colleges that require some sort of worship credit, there are some that really determine your grade, not just that .1. I mean, it's an actual class. My sister went to a Nazarene college in Idaho, and they had opportunities every single day for chapel, and I can't remember how many they were supposed to attend, but they kind of accumulated worship credit points the same way. But I think they had more opportunities, and it was a lot more inviting to students. That's the biggest thing to me, is that it wasn't a scheduled time, Thursday mornings. It was every morning, the same amount of time, and if you didn't have a class, go for it. If you did have a class, there was other opportunities. But it was something that you were allowed to go to, and it was all by will. Right. That's the coolest thing to me. But I mean, I think the biggest thing that students would be more willing to go is if it would relate to them more, whether it be worship. For me, it's worship. I'm really not a big fan of the hymns personally. I'm a fan of nice upbeat worship. Drums, electric guitar, bass, whatever you want, or sometimes even an acoustic guitar that sounds really good and is played well. I'm happy with. But I think when students get caught up in how many points they have to require and stuff, I mean, I think they just need to realize they only have to get the minimum if they really want to. So I think looking at it from a non-Adventist point of view, it's okay for me because I know that there's more hefty requirements out there, but I wish it would be towards more of my generation. And Pastor Ice last week said a great thing, saying, they are moving forward. We are moving forward, and by the time that you're a parent, your kids are going to be saying, this is for my parents. And so eventually it's going to get that far because that's the main interest of the church. But until then, we're kind of stuck.
All right.
I find one of the interesting things that this person said is you must have these many points to call yourself a good Christian student, and this kind of Christianity I just don't want any part of. The funny thing is, Adventism falls within the realm of conservative evangelicalism. conservative evangelicalism, these Christians believe in the gospel. The word evangel means good news in Greek. But the funny thing is, conservative evangelical Christians, especially in North America, while they're usually orthodox in their beliefs, meaning they believe all the same stuff that most other Christians have believed for the past 2,000 years, they do suffer from this trap of legalism, falling into rules and regulations. They don't mean to. Their motivations aren't so much, oh, well, I want to see how many ways I can make you trip up and hopefully you burn in hell for all eternity and I'm going to laugh while you do so. But they do suffer from this because it's an attempt to try to be true in what you believe and true in how you worship. And as well, Adventism is a restorationist movement. It's trying to get back to what did the New Testament apostles and believers in 1st and 2nd century and 3rd century Christians worship and believe, and how did they worship and believe? The funny thing is, you can't do that because we weren't there. We don't even have any sources to even reconstruct it. And the funny thing is, history moves in a progression, and the only way we can go is forward, not backward. We can try to keep as true to the spirit and the thinking of the early church, even in our worship. But I can kind of see where this person is coming from. And but I would say to this person, unfortunately, this is the kind of environment that Adventism grew up in, and that it falls under. And so maybe the best way is to transform it, keep its conservative evangelical side, but transform it into a response to God's grace in worship from gratitude, not from a sense of, I need to do this because God is this big cop of the billy club and he's going to beat me over the head if I don't do this, this, and this.
All right.
And I just want to remind people that, well, the past three different emails that we've been talking about have been discussing the fact of colloquy and vespers and how it's required for us to go, and through that we're supposed to get a spiritual lift or boost for the week and different things like that. But sometimes it falls short of it and in different ways. And I do want to also remind people that as important as community worship is, there's a big part that personal daily devotions play in each of our lives. And I just want to recommend that people should be able to do that, to move into that realm as well. Not only depend on others to provide for their spiritual needs, but also to get into the Word themselves, and to get into this Word and to be able to dig into it. Even if they don't really know a lot, just grab a chapter and try to find out what's in it and how does it apply to you. And I think that both community worship and personal daily devotions have a big part to play in our lives. And I think we need to focus on the personal daily devotions as well.
All right. Okay. Well, that wraps it up for all the time that we have tonight. I want to thank Nick. I want to thank Nathaniel. I want to thank Robert for all joining us tonight. And coming up, we have Larissa with the news. We also have Wright, who's going to update you on Senate. We have a very special musical performance for you coming up after that, followed by the latest PUC-ites comedy segment from Charles Johnson. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.